Well, it's very exciting. We have Kid Kenobi with us here today, and we are delighted to see what you're going to bring to ignite this circus party we've
Yeah.
got next Saturday in Max Watt's House of Music. It's got an epic sound system. We've got dancers, we've got performers, we're bringing so much magic to really ignite that dance floor, and you're gonna be taking over from DJ Ria,
Yep.
and. Yeah, bringing back some of that classic house and
Yeah.
breaks we
Yep. Yep.
love
Exactly. Yeah.
from that golden era of music, and I thought that would be a good place to start.
Yep.
In terms of a question talking about the past, and how have you seen dance music evolve from sort of the golden era of all that classic house and breaks when you were voted Australia's favourite DJ for 3 years
Yep.
back then.
Yep.
So
So when was that? That was the early 2000s. So
Yeah.
yeah. Interestingly, for me, there's been a few different eras or golden ages. I think the first one for me is when I first started going to raves in the early 90s. So early 90s was a really good time for dance music. It was when it was completely underground. The raves took place in illegal warehouses around Sydney or out in the bush. You'd have to call a 0055 number on the night to find out where the actual party was. I had to
Ooh,
explain.
underground.
Yeah, totally. I had to explain
Yeah.
to my mum what techno was, what's a rave, what does DJs do. Like, it was a whole. No one really knew what it was. It was like a whole new concept. So for me, that was the first golden era, and then I think after that, it slowly moved out of the rave scene and into clubs. And that was the next sort of golden era when it sort of became a little bit more mainstream, and it wasn't just for people who were into super countercultural stuff or underground stuff, and it started blowing up, but it wasn't completely mainstream yet. So that was super exciting. I think the early 2000s was just that crossover between when it was underground and when it was mainstream. So that was, yeah, the early 2000s. I feel like I was very lucky to be a part of that. Was more club culture. But I was, yeah, very lucky to be a part of that
Yeah.
time and place. Yeah.
and you played at lots of festivals, obviously around Australia and the world.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's the scene, the electronic music scene sort of evolved with what's cool or what are the popular the sort of genres of
Yeah.
electronic music.
Yeah.
How have you seen that evolve? 'Cause
Well,
over the
it's,
lo-
it's funny. Like you think of it as an evolution, but sometimes it's just sort of like a revolution in a way, and not by saying it's necessarily something new, but it just goes around in a circle. So
Yes.
like when I was sort of coming through in the club scene in the early 2000s, late 90s, we were playing a lot of 70s influenced stuff in a way, like a lot of
Nice.
funk
Yeah.
and disco influenced music. So for us, it was like we're regurgitating like a lot of this sort of 70s funk and putting it into breaks, and it was, French disco house was big and all that. And then that stopped being popular.
Right.
Electro house came through, and that was very electronic sounding. And now we're almost going back into like disco's back again. Disco house is popular and all that kind of stuff. So we've kind of gone through this cycle. So in a way, you're sort of like you're seeing changes, but you're seeing the same thing come back in fashion, and it goes through these cycles. So yeah, I kind of like it at the moment because I'm sort of getting back into that sort of warmer, funkier sound again. Good tunes never die. Like they're always a good track is a good track. I mean, there's some differences obviously in production between 20 years ago and now, but I think a good track is always a good track.
Yes.
And I think yeah, it's cool. I think there's a lot of that happening at the moment where people are referencing the past.
Yes.
So I find myself doing quite a lot of throwback parties as well as sort of contemporary sort of stuff. So I love being able to, at some point you kind of go, I don't know, you kind of always want to be this cutting edge dude, and then after a while you go, well, I have a history, and it's nice to
Yeah.
draw from that as well. So I love, opportunities like this where I can go, how can I pull from more of this past and just do one cool one cool set.
Yeah, totally. Well, we're giving creative license to bring back all the classic dance tunes, because by then the dance floor is going to be warmed up. It's going to be a frenzy, and then you're just going to blow the roof off the big top.
Yeah,
Basically,
awesome.
it's like we give you creative permission to like just drop those beats and just get everyone losing it. And we always talk about this natural high that that we want to ignite in people, and it really comes through dance. It's movement. It's letting go. You get that amazing actual chemical release of endorphins, dopamine, serotonin naturally, and that's certainly what we're all about, enabling to remind people that you don't actually need the drugs and alcohol. So I mean, on the drug and alcohol culture, I mean, like how have you seen that evolve over the years, and what do you I guess see as the main problem in terms of what needs to change?
Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, not obviously, but I have been into music from very early age. You know, my dad was a musician and played in bands, and, you know, I grew up in high school being obsessed with different types of music. So
Yeah.
for me, I've always had a love for music, and, you know, that's been the thing that I fell in love with first, you know, and I think, you know, getting into clubs, getting into raves, you experience the drug and alcohol side, and, you know, that to a certain extent has had its role in my past. But at the end of the day, it is always about the music. The music was always first for me, and I think it's very easy to lose perspective in terms of, you know, what is the most powerful thing here. And I think music will always be the most powerful thing.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think people can get confused thinking that they need something to experience music in a really good way, and I think that sort of they lose that sort of perspective on music. I think music
Yeah.
itself is the most powerful thing for sure.
Well, definitely. You know, as I've increasingly partied sober, and I find how powerful that music is.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my tactics is I literally just close my eyes, because you naturally have your inhibitions, and I'm
Yeah.
all about like that's just in your head, by the way. So you can let that go, but I just close my eyes and I feel the music, and I let the music move me, and it's amazing how powerful that is. And all you gotta do is just start moving. And people say they can't dance. Anyone can feel the beat, you know, and just and let loose. But it's the power of music for me. And I find when I'm sober, I'm way more connected to music as well. It's really, and this is observations with myself as I really get more into this experiencing the natural high. And so it's yeah, very, very, very powerful. And hence it is all about the music.
Yeah.
You know, you need good music.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And sometimes I go to cool clubs or environments where it's meant to be a bit too cool, maybe, because the music's like, yeah, not really vibing with that. It's almost like you do need to be on some sort of drug to probably enjoy it or appreciate it. Maybe. So in terms of like where music's going, I think that you're obviously you're producing music. You're working with different artists at the moment, and I think you've got a new single coming up.
Yes, I'm working on a couple at the moment. I've got my main Kid Kenobi alias, and I've got a couple of other production aliases as well. So I'm always got something cooking.
Yes.
But where is it going? That is a really good question. I always, you know, the thing that's great about music is that you think you know what's happening, and then something will just come out of the blue, and you'll be just like, wow, I didn't see that coming. It'll always keep you on your toes. But I think in the immediate future, you know, I mean, there's lots of different ways that it's going, but like I said before, I'm really personally enjoying the return of the soul and the funk and the disco element to dance music, because I think that's where my roots lie. And I think personally, anyway, I go through these cycles, you know, where I'm into the warm, funky, soulful stuff, and then suddenly we'll veer into the harder, more electronic stuff. And I've gone through these sort of cycles in my life, and I think I'm getting back into the warm, funkier stuff. But where is it going? Is the culture? Look, to be honest, I am a little bit concerned about the culture at the moment in Sydney. And I think, you know, thank God that you guys are doing events like this, because that reminds people of what's great about dance culture. But compared to like 15, 20 years ago, we kind of don't even have a culture anymore. You know, it is sort of, you know, like a regular weekly dance culture is something that has sort of evaporated from Sydney for various reasons. You know, I think it does rely on people like you guys doing events to bring that and maintain that and keep that alive, you know, because it is such an awesome thing. And, you know, I just sometimes think that, you know, the younger generation are coming through not having regular access to that, or not understanding the power of dance music, or the power of DJs, or culture of dancing to dance music, you know. And I think they sort of just go, oh yeah, dance music's just like, maybe they're not even don't understand dance music in general. They just hear the artist and go, I like that artist, but the actual culture behind
the
that.
appreciation of, and you know, we say it's all about the music, but of course it's all about the people. Any party is all about the people, and you know, talking about culture, it's all about the connection, right? And you know, that shared appreciation.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the music,
the vibe,
and the vibe, and look, do you feel like you know, the amount of drugs and alcohol people are consuming has something to do with this, or is this something that's?
It depends. Yeah, I think it's some of those events for sure. You know, I think people just have maybe sort of missed the mark a little bit sometimes, and gone, well, that's where you go to do heaps of drugs, and then I don't know, all sorts of bad stuff happens. But yeah, I think the focus back on the community and the coming together, I think, you know, is the it's a central part of it, really. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's the other thing I reflect on with drugs and alcohol, and again, why we're doing these drug and alcohol free parties is it is all about enabling the connection. And you know, if you have too many drinks or you're under the influence of drugs, often it inhibits the genuine connection.
Yeah.
And you know, that's again, we're just reminding people that one, you can get really high on the music and you can let loose, and two, what that connection feels like without being under the influence of anything. And I often reflect with younger generations and social media, people are not as connecting as much as they used to. So like when they do, you know, I've had this feedback from some young people, you know, when they do come together, they feel they need something to help loosen things up. And it's sort of, I guess I feel like that's a bit of a sad trend, and it's not to do with anyone. It's, look, you know, alcohol's accessible everywhere, drugs are increasingly accessible, social media is becoming a growing thing. Like, it's just the world we live in, which is more challenging, I think, isn't it? But and that's where we just want to provide those environments where people can connect, and just remind themselves how much fun they can have without anything, and also what it actually feels like to have like a night of genuine connection. You wake up the next day and you can remember every conversation.
And no come downs.
Totally, people, like, seriously, it's like it's it's you know, it's a great option, and I guess that's what we're about at Ecstatic Sunsets. We're not saying you should go sober and you should stop, you know, doing drugs and alcohol, whatever, you know, you prefer, what you choose to do. It's just providing an option, a night where you can have a night off, and
or give yourself the opportunity to experience it, you know, and try it out, you know. Because I was saying before that some of the best highs I've ever had have been natural ones.
Yes,
and it's a very different kind of high. It's a very clean high, you know, and it just and it leaves very naturally as well. So like I was saying, you don't have those really vicious come downs.
That's it. I find it sort of like it's sort of a natural build up. Like, as I said, when I lose myself in the music, dancing, and I'm just like flowing and I'm kicking to the music and vibing off everyone else, and it's like this. I find that actually high sort of builds gradually, but it's sort of just, you know, it can be actually maintained, sustained throughout the night, and I just feel really good, vibed up, and then in the night I'm like, wow, I had a great night. And you know, in contrast to if you are doing like MD or ecstasy, things like that, there's always this nasty drop. Yeah. And that's...
Oh God, no. It was just the drugs.
Yeah, I know, which is sort of...
It's left me.
Yeah. which is obviously, you know, I feel, you know, that's the sort of the sad aspect of that, is that you often wake up the next day feeling more disconnected. You know, and that's the sad thing, you know, and if connection, you know, connection is so important these days, just to be able to talk about stuff and get through life and be happy, and if the only time we're connecting is under the influence, I think it's just, a missed opportunity really for us to actually come together more and more, just without any substances, and just like be vibing together. And of course, a key element is the reason why we're wearing these awesome hats, because it's all about dress up right. Dressing up helps you express, helps you let go, helps you lose those inhibitions. Like, you know, if that's why you're drinking to loosen up, it's like, just wear a crazy silly outfit. And I think both of us a bit more, we put these hats on and we're like, we've loosened up massively from like, you know, you used to wear a silly hat, whatever. The theme for Cirque Xstatic is, you know, circus style, Moulin Rouge, dressed to impress, but hey, you can just wear a lion onesie if you want. There's no rules. And, you know, the idea is a safe environment, just come and let loose and express yourself in whatever you choose to wear, but just wear something a bit fun. And we're going to bring amazing decor. We're going to, we've got performances, dancers, you know, it's the magic of a circus, if you like, but of course, amazing music. So Kid Kenobi, we're so excited.
I'm very excited as well.
I can't wait to hear the tunes you're going to play, because, you know, while I love organising the parties, I'm the guy on the dance floor. I'm the guy on the podium, because I freaking love this shit. And this is why we're doing these. This is why, you know, I'm doing it because I love it myself. But so Kid Kenobi, or Jessie, as your friends would, and your gorgeous daughters would know you as, right? Yeah. And what are you going to be bringing to Cirque Xstatic in terms of your set?
I think I'm going to try and encapsulate my 20 years of DJing. Well, actually, it's more like 22 now, but 22 years of DJing into however long I'm playing for, hour and a half, hour and a half, yeah. So I'm just going to bring all these influences together and just... it's about the vibe, you know. I generally like to play sort of an uplifting kind of vibe. You know, my roots are in rave culture, and that was always about, you know, bringing up an energy and bringing up the vibe. So yeah, it'll be 20 years of vibe in an hour and a half.
I'm so excited, and I'm sure you all are as well. Oh my god, we can't wait. So great, awesome.
High five.
Here's to that. See you on the dance floor. You.